What's going on to you, Capricorns? How are you doing? Hopefully, y'all are having a good day. So, for you, Capricorns, you actually have the three of Michael, three of Michael, the Lovers, and then you also have the Strength card for you, Capricorns. Um, so a lot of you Capricorns, like it is that I said before, a lot of you, some things in your life are very much so changing. If you Capricorns have any kind of loved ones in your life as far as family and romantic interests, maybe even friends to a lesser degree, but I'm seeing it's either family or romantic interests. A lot of you Capricorns are going to have to learn to stand your ground. There's something that you and other people, right, in general, don't necessarily see eye to eye with. And if you're not paying attention, you can't have these people in your life. Not everybody's going to be able to go with you, travel on that journey alongside with you. And so a lot of you Capricorns, the reason why I'm saying that is because the three of Michael, which is the three of swords, represents the separation, right, for you Capricorns. So it represents you not taking them seriously anymore. You don't want to have anything to do with them. The Magician and then the Strength card, right? The Magician represents how, excuse me, not the Magician, the Lovers and the Strength card. Excuse me. The Lovers represents the connection that you have. Now, the connections that you have that goes over even your friends a lot of the times are genetic, people whom you are romantically interested in or interested in and with. And then you have the Strength card. So it represents restraint, right? Restraint. Um, letting things, being activated, being, having restraint, but being activated, letting things be what they are, right? If a person decides that they're going to move funny style with you, you Capricorns allowing them to move funny style, without, addressing their mistakes, but then choosing to not rock with them, choosing to not be with them, choosing to not take them seriously anymore. And then a lot of you Capricorns understand this, right? So there's most definitely a sense of, things are popping off for you, things are happening for you. But like it is, I said before, right? When things are on the up and up, there's more discipline that comes with that, refinement, right? There's been tons of people in my DMs. Guess what? I don't pay attention to a lot of them. I pay attention to a lot, but then there's still a lot that I don't pay attention to. Why? Because they want me to do something that goes against my long-term interests, right? That goes against my better judgment. And I'm not trying to do that. And so, I'm using wisdom to guide me on through. I'm not hanging out with these people. I'm not engaging in any of the things that they want me to. And so the situation with that is, a lot of you are in a position where, you'll have to let go of certain friends. You'll have to let go of certain habits that you used to do. And I've talked about this before, that when you on the up and up, you don't have time. And I'm glad that a lot of my subscribers are really getting it. You're not going to be able to do both. You're not you're not going to be able to do both. You'll have to get rid of one in exchange for the other. You can't blend the two. That's just an honest thing. Because what will happen is that even if you have those two, those people will basically put you in a position where if you bring dysfunctional people along with you, they will bring you down with them. They will do things to inevitably do that, whether it's their own stupid choices that they make, right? But they don't necessarily intend to, or sometimes they do intend to bring you down and still make stupid decisions along the way. So now that you understanding that you will have to learn to get rid of a couple of people by excommunication, the page of Raphael in the Knight of Ariel represents you will have to do it, and you'll be actually better off for doing it. If this is difficult for you, you'll be actually better off doing it. And you'll have to learn how to care less, because there's a sense of you caring a lot, and you caring a lot, and you really wanting to be, connected with them. But again, Capricorn, you can't be connected with people that ultimately will go nowhere, or things won't necessarily pop off for them the way that they necessarily thought it would. So a lot of you are in a position where you have the Four of Raphael and the Moon card, right? You'll have to learn to not care about them as much. But make no mistake about it, there will be costs that have to be cut back on, right? There will be costs in order for you to keep moving forward. See, again, this is what I was trying to say, though, the work with you and not against you. Instead of a person be hand in hand with you along that same path and you get the destination and you get the person, they stand in front of you on the yellow brick road, right? On your destiny, on your journey. Now you have to get through them in order to get to your destiny. But then you're figuring out which one do you want more. Do you want to have this person? But then it means that when they stand in front of you specifically, it means that you either, if you want to have this person, you can't reach your destiny. If you want to reach your destiny, you're going to have to get through this person. And the situation with that is, you'll have to learn to be more cold to them and move forward, because again, you can't take them with you. So the Four of Raphael and the Moon card right here is all about how, since that's the case, a lot of you are in a position where the Four of Raphael speaks to you. You're going to grieve over it a little bit because you may have cared about these people. So it could have been a romantic interest and someone that you may have even been dating for a little while and everything was good. But now all of a sudden, now that you Capricorns are doing your thing, you and them can't necessarily see eye to eye. And, this is when it is that you want to take a survey of yourself, because sometimes it's a matter of, you could be going off the rails, but then other times it's also a matter too, where it's like, it could also be a matter of, them going off the rails, right? Somebody is going off the rails. Something is happening where the two of you don't see eye to eye. Because if it is a romantic interest and the two of y'all saw eye to eye for the longest time, right, lovers, then something essentially, went off the rails, either you or them. And in any case, right, two of y'all are not going to be together anymore. So the Four of Raphael and the Moon card right here represents how, and since that's the case, you're in a position where a lot of you, very much so, you're gonna deal with it as it happens to you, because it doesn't feel good, right? It's not particularly fun or comforting in order to, or blissful, right? Joyful. But at the same time, the Moon card, you will reflect on this and you'll be asking yourself if it was a good choice. At the same time, you will be processing emotionally and mentally what it is that you've done. And then you have the Eight of Ariel, right? Ariel, right? Which is, you will come to your own conclusions, a lot of you, for yourself. For some of you, for a lot of you, you will come to your own conclusions as Capricorns that, yes, it is worth it. Because you have to understand, Capricorn, that it will take everything that you have in order to reach where it is that you really want to go. Capricorns want world domination, and there's nothing wrong with that. You attaining the whole world in your hand, but at the same time, you have to understand that you have to work for it, and you have to make the cuts, or you have to meet the setbacks head on. You can't be scared of the setbacks or any of that type of stuff, because once you start being afraid of the setbacks, what's going to happen with you is you're going to find yourself in a messed up disposition. You're going to be afraid. You're going to shy away from the setbacks and all that stuff. And that's something that you don't want to do. You Capricorns meeting this setback of, you'll have to, get rid of your loved one in that way, right? Could even be a friend. But I'm saying that more than likely it's a romantic interest or a family member. But regardless of the who or the what, you'll still have to cut them off from your life anyway. The Eight of Michael and the Ace of Raphael speaks to how you Capricorns ultimately So yeah, so it's definitely a situation where it's like addition by subtraction. You may not have these people in your life or any of that stuff, but at the same time, even though you don't have them in your life anymore, you will not have them anymore. You've gained much more from, setting them free, setting yourself free as well, because those people are going to do nothing but bring you down. And that's how it is, right? A lot of the times people will ask me, well, why did they do it? It's a lot of factors. I don't really say a whole lot because it's so much that goes into it. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about the cluster, right? The cluster is congestion. Cluster is like a group of things that are tightly grouped to one another. So a lot of it is envy slash jealousy. A lot of it is love. A lot of it is like fear. A lot of it is laziness. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it is laziness. You know what I mean? A lot of it is that. Excuse me, is that. Is that. A lot of it is that. You feel me? And when you group those things together, and it's other things too, when you group those things together, you have a recipe for a dysfunctional person. Because think about it, right? That person, when they do that, they exhibit excessive confidence, right? They can do it any time that they want, but then they never actually really get to it. They're jealous and envious. They have the same 24 hours in a day, but what do they actually spend their 24 hours doing, even though they're so confident that they can make it happen? BS, play games, waste time, be dysfunctional, da 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 da. Right? And this is what I was trying to say when I say, you can't be about the stupidity and be about your business at the same time. You will have to let go of one. I'm telling you from personal experience, because on your journey requires you to let go of certain things naturally anyway. For instance, if you're trying to make $100,000, you'll have to learn how to do that. That's time that you're taking out of your 24 hours to do that. As to where in one alternate universe, you would spend your time BSing and wasting time and doing stuff. In another alternate universe, right? Or I can say another alternate universe. In this universe here, you're spending that time reading, trying to figure out how to actually do that, right? So time is going to get used no matter what. It matters on how you spend your time. And when you see goofy goobers spending their time messing around, playing games, wasting time, being on some dysfunctional stuff, and then you doing that, how can they be so upset that you chose to spend your time this way and they didn't spend their time that way when they had the same 24 hours that you had? That's what I'm trying to say. You can't bring these people with you. Let's clarify the Ace of Raphael. The mentality has to change. The things you do on a 24 hours clock cycle has to change, right? Before, you may have been eating bonbons and, I don't know, bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches at the bodega and all of that, and hanging out and kicking it with your friends. But then when you chose to get on your grind, now all of a sudden you can't do that anymore. Why? Because you spend naturally more of your 24 hours in that clock cycle working on your business, working out, staying healthy, doing your thing. That naturally, you see what I'm saying? That naturally is a quantum entanglement. Which one do you do? So let's clarify the Ace of Raphael. So to clarify the Ace of Raphael, right? The Eight of Michael and the Ace of Raphael represents a lot of you make the decision that's good for you, right? You have the Nine of Wands, the Knight of Swords, the Fool card, the Queen of Cups, and then the Hierophant. A lot of you Capricorns will choose to be about your business because you understand that this is not about your ego. This is not about other people's egos, having you around, keeping you in the same place that you are. A lot of you Capricorns understand it's time for you to actually rise up. And so you have to make the proper cutbacks, or you have to meet the proper setbacks the way that you need to. That's another aspect of it too. Like when you're on your grind, you will be met with choices. What do you do? Do you invest, or do you take this amount of money and you party? You know, I've talked about this before, that when, for the most part, when people get paid, they do a lot of partying. They do a lot of partying. But then at the same time, even though they be doing a lot of partying, what happens, right? You see them, they blow it off. They blow a lot of it off, right? TGIF, right? But then now when you're in a position, ironically, TGIF, right? But then when you're in a position now where, you make the setbacks, you meet them head on, you say, you know what, you're going to invest this. You won't do a lot of partying. But what you are doing is you partying, but you partying in a different way, because you're seeing that bread stack up in a way that you want it to. And it's actually working for you. So now you're not just getting bread. It's exactly like what Nipsey Hussle said. It's mailbox money. You in a position now where, you put the bread up, but you get the bread for the rest of your life generating for you after that. Less money that you have to work for. And so the situation for that is that a lot of you are in place where, again, the Nine of Wands, Knight of Swords, the Fool card, a lot of you will make the decision to let go of these people, and the Queen of Cups and the Hierophant, because you want more than this. And so a lot of you Capricorns will actually feel proud of the decision that you made, right? And feel proud. And the Hierophant represents because you know that you're making the right decision from doing this. You are. Whatever decision you make is the right decision. Because ultimately, even if you decide that you're going to do this, it'll just speak to your level in the long run. You know what I'm saying? There's only 7% of people on earth who invest in stocks. 7%. It is what it is. So that's pretty much it. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video. Trying to get the YouTube channel to 100K. I'm at 25,900 already. Smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, hit the notification bell, set that notification bell to all so you can be notified whenever I drop my videos. If you want to come through and get a personal reading, come through. Get a personal reading from me, or the books that I have that are on Amazon, or the Kareemspiritworks clothing. The link to that is in the comment section below. This is not my clothing, by the way. I'll show it to you later. Peace.